Hit record. And I'm good on my end.
All right. Yep.
All right. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, all, and welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and I'm with Squeaks.
Squeaks.
And today we're going to be going over DC FanDome. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Black Widow spinoff comics, Battle of the Brands, and then we're going to get a few more things. And then we have the book club finally for Shadows Rising by Madeline Rose. So we're going to get into that, and we'll announce our next book you guys voted on, and we'll see how that goes. Before we get too far, what have you been watching lately? Anything good?
Watching Wise Lovecraft Country. Have you started that yet?
Not yet. I didn't know that was on already.
Yep, 2 episodes in right now.
How is it so far?
Very different, but that's what I love about it. It's very unpredictable.
Ooh, okay.
Sure. Very good.
Is it a lot of H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff?
It is. I feel like every episode so far seems like a story of H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, you couldn't have pitched it better to me then.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I've been watching High Score. It's a documentary on, it's a 6-part documentary on Netflix. I can't suggest it enough to you. It's telling the history of video games, but what I like is it's telling them through like people that it affected. So like, for example, the first episode, there's the person who, what did she do? I think she was the first, like, whatever, Pac-Man champion or whatever. And so it kind of like talks about, oh, this was the first version of esports. And then the second episode, they get into, well, what I really like. So there's some stories that you kind of know as a video game fan, but there's some stories that you don't know, but you kind of get the in-between guys that I really like. So, you know, of course, we learned about Bushnell, the guy who basically was in charge of Atari. But then we learned that, like, there's a certain part where people start getting tired of Atari, and then, like, the episode ends, and as a fan, you're like, it was in 83, we know it comes in 85, and, of course, the next episode's all about NES, and so it's been really cool. Yeah, it's a really good series on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I usually don't do documentaries, but, if it's about video games, then why not? I'll check it out.
Yeah, and I actually suggested for Sarah, too, because the way it tells the stories, it's, again, through the people, not necessarily through like just hard facts and like Mario references. It's actually through the people. So it really, I think it's good for the broad audience.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into some DC FanDome. We're going to go talk about the highlights, our favorite parts here. Before we go too far, we're going to get it out, the big one right away. What was your favorite thing from DC FanDome? FanDome. I keep saying FanDome. It's FanDome.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I have something that sticks with me that I was more shocked about that I wasn't expecting. Okay. And that was actually Gotham Knights. I did not expect the DC FanDome to release a game trailer. I was just kind of expecting, movies, comics, whatever. So when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know we were going into the video game world. It probably is my favorite just because I was shocked to it. Yeah.
I liked it a lot. So, just a real quick rundown of what it is. It's a co-op adventure game. Yeah. You can play as Nightwing, Batgirl, Red Hood, which is Jason Todd after he comes back to life, and then Robin. And this is the Tim Drake Robin. At first, and I even tweeted about it, I thought it was Damian Wayne because I love Damian Wayne. I was hoping it was him. But it's Tim Drake, which makes sense. He's the smartest of all of them, and they need that detective on the force. Really cool. Now, Court of Owls. What do you think about the Court of Owls being the big bad guy in this?
Oh man, it threw me off this whole thing. I've been shocked about I was shocked about the whole game because I would have never thought. I thought maybe we would have saw some of the same villains from the Arkham Knights because how they kind of revisit here and there. Like we always see like Catwoman, Scarecrow's made an appearance twice now. So to see like the Court of Owls and something totally different, and to me way left field because I would have never expected that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was really excited about it too because I was assuming that we were going to get, because I had heard there's going to be something, but I thought it was just going to be another Batman game. Excited for that. Nothing wrong with that. So it's not in the same universe as the Arkham games, which is kind of nice because then we can kind of play around with who's still alive and not to spoil anything and whatever, although presumably Batman is dead. I don't believe that, but presumably. So we'll see how it goes.
Accept it.
Yeah, I'm excited. One thing I really like is each of the characters you play with have very distinct abilities. So, like, you can see Jason Todd's teleportation ability and Nightwing spinning with his batons and stuff. That's going to be really good.
Floating around him, yeah.
This is made by the same team that made a lot of the Arkham games, so that is a good sign.
Nice.
Let's talk about the other video game that was announced, the Suicide Squad. This one's from Rocksteady, also same team that did a lot of the Arkham games, coming out in 2022. We just got, like, a full-on cinematic, no gameplay. What are your early thoughts on this?
A little disappointed at the fact that I think the release date is 2022.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, yeah. So
you're correct.
It's kind of like, okay, well, Way to tickle us during your fandom. But I mean, that's awesome. I'm excited to see something totally different um, besides a Batman game. So I like
Hmm.
how we're seeing the different side of things. Um, I do like that it's going to tie in a little bit of the Arkham world.
Yeah.
They that has been said now. I'm kind of wishing to see something other than Batman games. You know, like Rocksteady, you're amazing
Yeah.
at your Arkham games, but can we see like, can you make a Superman game? Can you make a
Yeah.
Flash,
That.
whatever the
Yeah.
heck
Well,
Um,
Batman got a lot of love this fandom. There's no
oh yeah,
doubt. It was
yeah.
Batman central. But you're right. Yeah,
How
it
do you
would be
like?
nice to see something else outside of like just Harley Quinn. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you like the character designs, Harley Quinn and all them?
I'm fine with it. I mean, it
Yeah,
was pretty good. King Shark. It's funny because King Shark's just been he was cool in Flash, but it's Harley Quinn that really made me fall in love with King Shark all over
yeah,
again. Played
yeah.
by Funches, I think, and
Hmm.
really really funny. So now I'm kind of like a King Shark fan. He's in the new Suicide Squad movie as well, and I'm like, sweet King Shark.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's pretty cool. But yeah,
yeah.
it was interesting. You could tell that they're trying to like have them an ability a bit like a mobility ability as well. Like you saw that like she was zip tying around or zip lining around, and then you had what was it, Deadeye or something like that that had the rocket boots, Deadshot. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, Deadshot. Yeah.
Deadshot. Thank you. So like they have like you could tell like they all have these same abilities that are gonna be different. I don't know. It seems very video gamified. If that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, I think this being a four player co-op is something new though for Rocksteady, so we'll see how they do with the
Yeah.
multiplayer stuff.
I have a feeling it's going to be kind of like Left 4 Dead, where you pick the guy you're going to be fighting, and so
Hmm.
you're like going through a level, and at the end is Superman or Wonder Woman or something like that, and they're corrupted, so then you got to take them out. It'll be fun to
See,
do.
are you okay with that? I kind of over like the villains being superheroes, actually.
Injustice kind of nailed it and was done. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like, can I actually kill the real Superman, not a corrupted one?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things like that though. We're seeing a lot from DC. Like this was a really great
Yeah.
event, and I actually think it was the first this year of the virtual Comic Cons that I actually thought was like this nailed it.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of tired of the Trinity. You know, I wouldn't like. Let's get some real options. Like one of the things we're going to talk about is Static Shock. Like let's get some more of the kind of the back catalog. And I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm getting. I love Batman, and after this, I was thinking like, okay, October maybe we can make like Batman month and like we watch the movies or some shit like that. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was a lot of the Trinity. It
yeah,
just is.
yeah.
But even Superman, like they're not even touching Superman enough, and they really should because he is a badass. All right,
Yeah, I would like to see him venture out because I'm a big Green Lantern fan. So it's like, can I
I
not a
know
trailer, not nothing? Like, give me a little something.
we have another FanDome coming September 12th. They actually were all going to
Oh,
announce
nice.
everything on the same day on this one, but they decided like they had enough to split it for 2 days. And the
Oh,
next one's going to
nice.
be much more like fan based, where like you log onto their site and they're going to have these different places you visit that looks like it's a park. Like if you go to Disneyland and you're like Tomorrowland or whatever, it looks like that. But you
Oh
visit those and
shit,
they're going to be different panels pre-recorded with different announcements and things like that. So as a
that's
person,
badass.
for us who report on it, that's great. Thank you guys. Because
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, I missed something because I had to go to the restroom. So that's excellent. I'm excited to try that out.
that's awesome.
We had some more details on the Suicide Squad. We had like a featurette or a teaser that kind of showed some of the behind scenes. I liked how this looks like it's like a big action movie and less of a superhero
Yeah,
movie. That was pretty, and they're using some real deep bench guys. Mr. Polka Dot's in there. Like some real
there's so
crazy
many
characters in
people
there.
in there. You're like, who are these people?
Yeah, I would be afraid if it wasn't for James Gunn who did Guardians of the Galaxy. Then I'm like, this is
Yeah,
gonna be hilarious,
yeah.
and awesome to watch. So
Hmm.
that'd be really cool. Any spotlights to you out of this?
I think the one thing that was mentioned, that I like, well, that I was kind of shocked about that they kept saying that this is James Gunn's biggest movie.
Isn't that
So if we
crazy?
are, I think that is what's really catching my attention to it. And because of this is the group of oddballs, like Guardians was, that I think that he's gonna nail this movie because it's, no, I don't want to say super similar, but you kind of get the same aspects from Guardians of the Galaxy and
Yeah,
Suicide Squad. Um, I don't know if there's to me like too many of the Suicide Squad, and not
yeah,
enough like, okay, who's gonna get the spotlight? Because right now, I mean, Margot Robbie, Idris Elba is gonna be,
they're not gonna
you
die.
know,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wasn't going that far.
Oh,
I was
oh,
saying, I was saying like
yeah.
to take the spotlight from those two and
You're
like
right.
show
Yeah,
others. Um, uh, that's one concern that I have. But yeah, I think because it's James Gunn doing it and how he's done something similar before is what I'm really excited about.
yeah. And they kind of hinted like don't get attached to me. I think we're gonna lose like 75% of the cast. I think they're gonna die.
Yeah, maybe that's why they got a lot of these oddballs, like the polka dot man.
Exactly. Well, and it's kind of funny. I'm already predicting this joke. We saw this kind of reminds me of Deadpool 2. They did the same similar thing, but it would be funny if you had this huge cast and then like right away they lose John Cena, somebody really big, and then like you're losing, and then like it's Mr. Polka Dot and Harley Quinn, and you just Elba at the end. Like that'd be really great if he for some reason makes it across and he's like notoriously weird. That would be a good choice.
You know, it was kind of funny that I didn't care for like John Cena. You got to know your fucking characters. He's like, oh, I'm just playing a crappy version of Captain America. I was like, dude, this is DC FanDome. You don't bring up anything Marvel. It's
right?
Like, come on, guy.
Yeah, and it's like, it's John Cena. I mean, I don't expect a lot out of him. I feel like he's just a big meathead that we kind of like put into roles. I don't know. There's not a lot to say on that one.
But I'm kind of funny to see what I feel like that's going to be, the main character in The Boys. The captain guy.
Homelander.
Homelander. I feel like that might be a Homelander kind of vibe.
Yeah, I can see that. By the way, early reviews coming in on season 2 of The Boys, outstanding. A lot of people already. Nice. Some of the early, like Rotten Tomatoes, stuff like that. They're like high 80s and a lot of fun. So that's a good sign on that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Black Adam featurette. It just showed that, first off, we found out the Atom Smashers joining the cast. And it will feature some of the JSA, the Justice Society of America, which I really like them. We also know that Hawkman, Cyclone, and Dr. Fate will at least have small appearances in the film. So some really big kind of behind the lines. Look, Dr. Fate's huge. Hawkman, I wish they'd give him his own film. And The Rock is so behind this, man. That motivates the hell out of me to watch this. Did you watch any like the little trailer or like the little video of like the history behind Black Adam?
I did. I mean, I thought it was cool, and especially the artwork for it. But I was kind of, you just wanted more sometimes.
Of course.
Because how long have we heard about Black Adam and The Rock playing him for for a while now? It's kind of like, okay, all you got was a couple artists in a room, and did a voiceover. But I'm excited for it, especially with the other heroes that they're bringing in. So hopefully this just what DC really needs is that universe being created.
Yeah.
So we could kind of continue like Marvel has done for so long. So if we could bring in more characters and kind of get this DC universe going, then that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's time, and I think they're gonna build it right. Like it feels like they're doing like a dark Justice League with Atom Smasher joining him and stuff like that. Like I could see that happening. It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be good.
Now, assuming because it's a huge star, Dwayne Johnson playing Black Adam, that I'm going to picture DC's going to do this right and have maybe like a villain that lasts multiple movies.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, because I can't just see Rock playing a one-off as being the character as he is. So I'm hoping that he kind of comes up with this... I'm not him actually, but DC comes up with this group that we could be like, oh shit, the Justice League now all together has to go against Black Adam and whoever else.
Yeah, Legion of Doom or something like that would be cool. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
that would be amazing. I would like that. And Black Adam, he's super underutilized, and he's such a badass. He'd be a great guy to lead it. I mean, he's really smart and he's very powerful. Why not?
Yeah.
What'd you think of Cheetah's reveal in Wonder Woman?
I was okay. A little I don't want to say disappointed, but I was a little expecting to actually have a real outfit for what's her name?
So not Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. I was actually picturing her in a real like cheetah, like all that fur, but actually on her. Not the CGI stuff. It was kind of dark in in the dark scene when they were fighting. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, is it gonna look like her? Are we gonna get like the Hulk's face? You could like Mark Ruffalo. You could really see like that face on it. If it totally gets rid of that, then it's like, well, what's really the point? I feel like hopefully they could kind of put her face on that. The only thing that also is looking back on Wonder Woman 1, okay, that fight, I'm assuming this is, say, the end fight.
Right,
the end fight of Wonder Woman 1, too, was Ares was in the dark. So it's like, okay, every time you need a CGI role, it's just always going to be in the dark. So
same concern.
I'm okay with the overall image of Cheetah. Yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, now we're doing this this plan that worked well with Wonder Woman 1, and then just copy and pasting to Wonder Woman 2.
Same concern on my end, man. Wonder Woman 1 was fantastic for the first 2 acts. The third one, to me, felt pretty short. It was just a lot of dark CGI throwing metal at each other. And I have a feeling it's looking like that on that last one. They're losing the brightness and everything like that, which is something that we like. Because that opening shot of the new trailer, when it like goes into that like Olympus style arena, that's like super bright and gorgeous. You're like, man, that's cool. That reminds me of Aquaman and stuff like that. And then when you see like those cheetah fights, you're like, oof, hopefully I don't know. There's nothing that much they can do.
Yeah, maybe because I saw merchandise and stuff for Cheetah that I was expecting Kristen. Oh my gosh, I already forgot.
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. I was expecting her to actually be wearing the suit and like painted face with the spots or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see like a full on CGI of her.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll probably get a more complete version. I mean, that's one thing that with pandemics is people have been able to stay home and really kind of fine tune some work. There's been people talking about like, oh, we've had more time to work over the script, which has been great. So maybe we'll see a little bit better version of Cheetah come time.
Now, hopefully though, I don't want to like interrupt her. Sorry to interrupt her or anything.
No, you're good.
But I'm hoping Cheetah because we gotta keep these arch enemies like alive for a while. Like True. I can't see one off Cheetah. It's kind of like we saw the kind of crappy version of Doomsday. And it's like okay, that was it. Like just this one movie. Like come on now. Yeah. Like that should be a character that's like I want to start seeing these villains like become the stars themselves.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we talked about we said League of Doom. Wait, what is it? I think I said it right, but anyways, but yeah, like these like continuous storylines, like Lex Luthor always trying to push back, and Joker. Like unfortunately, we lost Heath Ledger, but if he had stuck around, I'd assume he would have been in the third Batman movie as well because he's that good, he's that important. He should always be a thorn in the side. Even if it's something else he's focusing on, it should be, at Joker's command or something. Yeah. I totally agree with you.
And we see Lex Luthor that didn't really finish off, like he was talking to shit in the jail cell on Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
So I could see him coming back. Hopefully not Jesse Eisenberg, but
I know.
Hopefully someone.
So okay, we'll lead into the next thing here, and again, we'll just get my bias out of the way. I dislike this guy quite a bit, but we'll talk about Snyder. Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. It's coming in 2021. We saw a little bit more footage from it. It's going to be 4 60-minute episodes. What do you, I'm just going to not be negative about this. What do you think about it?
So I've watched Justice League maybe like 2-3 times now.
Okay.
And I'm kind of a fan of the Batman vs Superman. I've probably seen that 4 times now. I know a lot of people get like some backlash on Batman vs Superman, and definitely there's some reason to, but it's just I don't know. It's just one that kind of gets my attention, and I like to watch it. I think because I'm a big Ben Affleck Batman fan.
Are you? Okay.
I am. I love his outfit. I love his greediness, or not greediness, his grittiness.
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm kinda. I don't want to say excited for it, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna watch it at least, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna watch it. I think it being like a mini series, I'm gonna assume that hopefully all the episodes will come out. I don't need. You're doing like this. Like it, the original It, right?
Right.
I don't know how you're gonna release it.
I think it'll be each week's a new one.
That makes it kind of worse too.
Yeah, and they'll probably try to straddle it over 2 subscriptions or something like. You know what I'm saying? Like. They're going to try to get you to go for 2 months instead of the 1. You know, everybody's trying to figure that out. Which is why I'm surprised they're not doing the 6 weeks because that's how you guarantee it. If you do 6 weeks, then you guarantee somebody's going to up on the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. What are you going to add? Like, what is there to add? I don't. Okay, we saw one clip of Superman in a black suit. Okay,
right.
Cool. Whatever.
So, well, the big thing is that we're getting. Oh God, what's his name? Oh no, I can't remember his name. The one from Apocalypse. Oh my God! You know what I'm talking about.
Darkseid? No.
Darkseid.
Darkseid?
Darkseid. Yeah. Sorry, Darkseid. We're getting Darkseid in this. We do see a small image of him, but it's not like.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, it's in the opening scene, and then there's been some like little footage.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all there's going to be of him. Really, they can't show too much.
So then this will open something else then. Obviously, that's
no, because they're not going to bring. Well, here we go. See, I don't know, because now Ben Affleck's kind of back in the picture. Because originally Zack Snyder was out, Ben Affleck was out, but now we have Ben Affleck back. We might get Zack Snyder back. I don't know. See, you know how it is, man.
They need to lock in these directors and lock in people like Marvel did.
and just trust them if you want them to. Like, yeah, well, Marvel made a system where a director almost can't fail, and then but DC's they're leaning on their directors, but it's like you got to give them enough time and enough things to really kind of develop their characters. Zack Snyder did a great job on Man of Steel, and then we go from there. Like, let's see what he can do. If he falters a couple movies, then you just need to see, okay, do we keep going with him or not? I don't know. You probably should have just kept going with him. Whether or not I like him, you probably should have just kept going with him so you have a consistent voice in the house.
Exactly. And then like a consistent plot, really. And it's like, okay, if Ben Affleck's out, okay, cool, then just fucking bring in Robert Pattinson. He's the next Batman, and just shove him in there, and then let him continue off what the story would have been. Yeah, I'd be okay with it.
We'll save that one for last. We'll talk about Robert Pattinson for last because that one I'm going deep on that one. But let's talk a little bit more about Ben Affleck because he is joining another film as Batman. He's joining The Flash. So we're going to have multiverse introduced through The Flash. The next fandom is called Explore the Multiverse. So we'll probably get a little bit more of that. We're also getting Michael Keaton's Batman in that one.
Yes.
Look at that face of yours.
I love it. I just started watching the first Michael Keaton movie, and it's like, man,
the music,
it's just so iconic, It's just like, man, I'm watching the first one, but then it's like the one that sticks to me ever since I was little was the second one, Penguin and Catwoman. Like, that's my Catwoman. Like, that's my...
It's great.
Perfect image. Anyway,
dude. We'll talk about like the Michael Keaton, like a great. It's the villain. I'm bringing it up here, but when Joker brings out that long gun and he shoots down the Batwing, my God, that just seared itself into my brain so much. It's so freaking good. And then that dance he has. I love those movies so much.
I'm getting goosebumps. Because even like I never really realized until I watched it more recently how Jack Nicholson was just an awesome Joker. Because I was like, it's old school, whatever. But he was great for, a 1989 film. He was great for a Joker.
And Tim Burton, excellent job too.
He was great. Yeah.
I just learned that that's who Tim Drake's named after. One of the Robins, they actually named him after Tim Burton. Which I didn't know that. Yeah, because Tim Drake came out during the filming of the '89 Batman, and they named him Tim. For Tim. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, so we got Keaton joining. Ben Affleck will be in it. Ezra Miller will still be in it. Yeah, so at least we're getting the multiverse. I think the multiverse is very cool. We might get a couple more Batmans. I wouldn't hate that. Wouldn't hate Christian Bale to poke his head in. But yeah, so definitely Batman love this time.
Yeah. Right.
Did you see the little teaser image that shows Flash and Keaton's Batman together?
Yeah, I did.
It was an artist rendering, but it does look really good. One thing I think, Jim Lee is now in charge. And I talked to the other guys about this during our last recording, which you weren't there, and I was like, man, Squeaks knows Jim Lee.
Yeah, I do.
Jim Lee's now in charge of expanding the DC IPs, right? They just basically put him in charge of like getting DC big. I think they should keep him in charge and have him run all the movies like they do over at Marvel, with Kevin Feige. Like, just let Jim Lee just decide what happens. That way you have one guy kind of, no matter if it's good or bad, just has a single vision. I think that's the best way to go.
And that's what's needed. Get with the plan. Everybody has to be on the plan, and this is what it is. Now, you can bring in some other minds. Like, I would bring in Patty from the Wonder Woman director.
Oh, she's fantastic. Great choice.
These great directors. And then kind of get them together. But everyone on the same page. Get all the actors locked in.
Is it James Wan that's doing the Aquaman? Was it James Wan doing Aquaman?
Yeah, James Wan, yeah.
He does good, man. That was really good. So yeah, just kind of get him coalition, but we need that one voice, I think. Jeff Johns was it for a bit. I liked Jeff Johns doing it, but he's now working on the Stargirl show and stuff like that. And of course making books. But yeah, throw in Jim Lee. I mean, I trust him 100%. The guy has a vision that's amazing.
And then a lot of his like art styles and whatnot too. I'm kind of curious of like what kind of image can we put on these movies too.
Yeah.
Will be interesting. But yeah, definitely we need if Jim Lee could sit in and be like, this is the plot and this is what's gonna happen. If you guys have ideas, so we could kind of spruce it up, but whatever. But ultimate, our goal is fucking Batman. Batman dies. I don't know.
Exactly what Kevin Feige would do. And what's nice about Jim Lee that others can't do, he'll have kind of like these things like he needs to see. Like he's like, hey, I need this one scene where Batman's looking down from a gargoyle. Like he's like, because he's got that comic brain, and he's like, I want that panel shot. And that's kind of the kind of things that then it's sear into our heads later on, like those panel shots. Like I'm thinking of Christian Bale's Batman on top of the bridge, like certain things that are later on used in promos and stuff like that. I think Jim Lee's going to be great for that.
For sure.
Okay, a couple more things here. We have Static Shock coming back. They're making a movie for Static Shock now. They're also bringing back a lot of I think they're called Milestone comics from the 90s. So that's really good. Static Shock was did you watch Static Shock when you were a kid?
Yeah, but I don't remember much. I mean, I remember the image of him.
Right.
Blue
Remember the awesome
jacket,
theme song.
blue mask thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I really know about him.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. He was kind of like he reminds me so much of like the rad teens of the 90s. But I'm excited to see him back. And then we're getting all the Milestone stuff coming back too. Static Shock's the big name though that I'm sure most people are going to remember. Okay, let's wrap this up with the big one. We have the Batman trailer. My God, it's amazing. I'm gonna first just blow your mind out real quick. Only 30% of the film is actually filmed yet. Did you know that?
I saw 25, but
IGN lies. It's 30.
Who knows? It probably is. They're so untrustworthy.
Yeah, they are. Go to Geek Freaks for you guys' information.
That's the scary part, though. Is it scary? Well, then it's like, okay, then it's a long time before we get it. But you're like,
right.
Damn, that was only 30% of the film.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So,
and then they're gonna go off a fan reaction, and they can kind of adjust. So sometimes there's something good about that. You know, they're like, oh, you know what? They really picked up on the way Pattinson smashed the shit out of that one guy. Let's add a little bit more of that stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What's your first takeaways from this?
My first takeaway is I do not like Catwoman. I think I just don't. I'm over this whole like, oh, I'm gonna rip a ski mat, just cheap ass outfits.
Very cheap, like, yeah. Well, this is very early days. I'm assuming it'll get better, right?
Well, if it continues, hopefully everybody stays on board, like we talk about. Mm-hmm. My thing is like, okay, so I compare Tim Burton's Catwoman and a lot of the Catwomans in the video games, and they're very like sex appeal, but very like dominant in a way.
Yeah.
And we only got a glimpse of it, right? But when I first saw this cheap ass ski mask thing ripped whole with little cat ears on it, I'm like, fuck, are you serious? Like, come on. Because we haven't had a great Catwoman in a long time. And even Anne Hathaway, you're like, okay, this is promising. And then you watch it, you're like, okay, this is like a Halloween costume. Like, who is this? This is kind of like...
Yeah. And this is even worse than that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm hoping
that's just my complaint.
I'm hoping that we'll see, like, it would be really nice if, like, Batman makes her first helmet or first cowl. He's something like that because he has a little bit more of a technology advantage over her. Something, because you're right. It is a little bit too cheap. It's a little bit too low. This is year 2 Batman is what we're learning. And so, you know, we should be one step ahead of that, at least. You know, it should be something formed.
I kind of just want to get into the game. Like, I don't want to, like, do, because there's so many Batmans. We know who the hell Catwoman is. I don't need oh my gosh, a backstory for just like get me into it, you know.
It might be a backstory into their love, though. That might be we might be getting like Batman issue 50 kind of thing going on,
and that's fine. Yeah, I just image wise,
totally agree. Totally agree.
But Robert Pattinson, man,
I know
with that fucking chiseled jaw and shit, man, he wears that Batman outfit pretty well.
Yeah, he does the good voice too. Outfit. I was happy with the voice. He has the good stature for it. Totally on board. Now, I think he makes a fantastic Batman. What do you think about him as a Bruce Wayne? Because there's a couple shots of him as Bruce Wayne, and I was like, this is gonna be a different Bruce Wayne than we're used to.
Definitely, and even like his even his hair, like his image of it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
If we're gonna get, because you're saying this is year 2, are we getting a younger Bruce Wayne that's kind of just a start off, not like the Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne where it's like, okay, I don't give a shit no more, so. Right. We're kind of going backwards, obviously, so it'll be interesting to see that now he handles his business and finances or whatever. But I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm not scared of anything yet with the Bruce Wayne side.
It reminds me of Christian Bale in Batman Begins when he's like in the prisons and stuff like that in like some faraway land, and then he like comes back and he like tries to shoot. He's gonna shoot somebody at a court case. Remember the one that killed his parents? Yeah. Do you remember that whole scene? That's kind of this like rough and tumble, young, I don't really know 100% what I'm doing yet kind of Batman. He's not even Batman technically at that point, but you know what I'm saying? He's like on that way. That's what I kind of see. And I'm hoping we get that. Yeah, it's interesting. We also got, so real quick, we have Penguin, Gordon, and Riddler. What did you think of those? We were just a little pieces.
How the fuck is that Colin Farrell?
Dude, I know, it blew me away. Yeah, the makeup artist had to come out and confirm it, right? Yeah.
I love Colin Farrell. He's one of my favorite actors, and it's like, what? I think he's a great actor, so I think I'm interested. This Penguin is really cool looking, just that snapshot of his face. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, it's more not so comic booky, but we still get like kind of like the pointy nose and like the chin, whatnot. So I'm very interested in his character. Who's playing Gordon? Guy from Westworld.
Guy from Westworld. Yeah, there you go.
I can't think
I
of his
know.
name
I
right
can't remember the names. Right now I'm trying to think of who's playing Falcone as well, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I think it's Totoro,
But
but anyways.
I think he's going to be a great Commissioner Gordon. Because the way he presents himself and talks and speaks, I'm like, oh man, he just every time you hear him talk in a movie or especially Westworld, it's so intelligent to me. I don't know, he just has it just comes off that way. So I think he's going to be an awesome and I think he's going to be awesome as a Commissioner Gordon.
I think he's going to be Detective Gordon while we see him here. This is pre-commissioner because it shows a police commissioner later on. I think this is Detective Gordon. Yeah.
So then this is really early in everybody's
Yeah.
And everyone.
It better be with that Catwoman mask. And then for Riddler, we saw just a little bit of him in the beginning when he's like taping somebody up, and then we hear later on the voice modulation. Looks really good. I really like the idea of Riddler as a serial killer. Like it really feels like one of those serial killer movies. Like we're getting these clues. We got kind of like I don't know. I'm gonna say burnt, but I mean it was what it was. It was fun at least. The Jim Carrey Riddler, where it was kind of like this wacky, silly character. The clues you got were a little overdone clues. This is just a straight up card that has a riddle in it, and he has to solve the riddle. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need like this pop up with like a giant, flashing green. I don't need all that. This to me was a little bit more cool because it's like serial killer.
Yeah, and we're gonna get a different vibe. It's not the fact that we're just getting another superhero movie, but we're actually getting like a murder mystery movie as well.
Exactly.
Like a what's that movie? 7 or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. 7's a good choice. Yeah.
So
they said this is the most detective version of Batman yet, so I like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. So I'm kind of excited for this feel. Hopefully, we can kind of keep it going.
Yeah. Any other things you want to talk about FanDome before we move on? I think we hit pretty much all the big ones.
Yeah, we got the games. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Okay. So again, guys, this next FanDome is going to be on September 12th. We'll of course talk about that. It's called DC FanDome Explore the Multiverse. Going across the pond over to Marvel, we have the 2 Black Widow spin-off comics are finally announced their release date because they also got delayed with the movie. So anytime Marvel comes out with a movie, they come out with some comic books to kind of, people watch the movies. They're like, oh, I'm interested in this new character. Let me try out comic books for the first time. Come on over, they'll show you. So the 2 comic books are going to be Yelena, I don't think I'm saying that right, and the Red Guard. And then the other one is going to be, what is it called? Oh, so that's Widowmaker's Red Guard and Yelena Belova. And then the other one's Taskmaster. That's the one I care about. And the other one's Taskmaster. Yeah. So the first one with Red Guard and Yelena is all about them trying to receive redemption after their new life. Because I think something along the lines of Black Widow kind of puts them back on the straight and narrow. Or like gives them purpose in their life. You know what I'm saying? From what we've seen from the trailers anyways. What do you think about that?
The Black Widow, right?
Right. The Widowmaker comic book, I think during Black Widow, she's going to get those 2 characters back into wanting to fight crime or have a purpose.
Yeah, I don't know too much of like a Widowmaker, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just know Black Widow, and like it's nice to kind of see her, and I want to see like more James Bond feel. So with the comics would be nice. I think with Taskmaster it's gonna be perfect because at the same time we're getting next month, September 4th, in a couple weeks we're gonna get Taskmaster in the new Avengers game. Okay. So that's another I guess hype up for what's coming out, being released from Marvel. So,
yeah. Taskmaster, he's one of those very underutilized villains, like we were talking about Black Adam. And what I like is his comic is from his point of view, and he's being hunted by all the best spies in the world. And so it comes right after he kills, I can't remember her name, but in the MCU, it's oh my God, seriously? Fury's assistant, you know who I'm talking about? We're doing so great with names.
I want to say Agent Carter, but that's not it. Carter's,
no, it's... How many people are screaming at their iPods right now?
Why, especially with the I can't even think of Commissioner Gordon's name right now.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. Okay, let's go. Man, Jeffrey Wright, by the way, on Commissioner Gordon. Boom. Jeffrey Wright.
Okay.
That's it. We got 1, guys. We got 1 out of 10. All right, moving on then on the names. But
I'm gonna look up this name.
Okay, but yeah, I'm really excited for the Taskmaster one. The other one I'll check out as well. It kind of depends on how good the movie is. The Black Widow movie is.
Maria Hill.
Maria Hill, thank you. He kills Maria Hill, and then so all the spies are hunting him down. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be cool to see from the villain's point of view, a comic book and stuff like that. It's gonna be really cool. All right, moving on to the next thing here. We got Battle of the Brands. If you guys haven't been paying attention to social media or the great game Fall Guys, they did a pretty cool thing this week. So Fall Guys is taking over the internet. It's just crazy right now, and a bunch of brands are trying to get Fall Guys to put a skin up for their brand in. Like famously, KFC made a skin that they want them to put in. and they're just not responding. They're not really going for it. They announced they're going to do this thing called Battle of the Brands. And if you want a skin made for your company, you have to donate your bidding. You're going to donate money to the Special Effects charity in the UK. Now, it's been going crazy. I mean, everybody's been bidding on it. We had like Ninja, Mr. Beast, the YouTubers, Tushy Bidet. I had to call this one out because it's my favorite one. I was hoping they would win. Tushy Bidet was very simple, and it had like a shirt that just said, "Ask me about my butthole," and that's what you're going to wear while you're running around. So far, the current bidder is by FV Family YouTube channel for $422,000. The Fall Guys creators, Mediatonic, they have the final say, and they've already been kind of declining a few people. One of them was a pornographic video game. They wanted to bid $110K, and they're like, "No, you're not safe for work. We're not going to make a good skin for you guys in the game." But I really like this idea. This is a good way to make skins for games, right? What do you think about this?
Well, I'm kind of so right now, like with what you're saying, they're not taking any profit. That's what it sounds like. They're just all doing it for the charity, for the special event. But I feel like you got to take some kind of profit, right?
Well, the skins. So when you play the game,
I guess you would buy the skin, right?
Well, no. So here's how the skins work. There are a couple sets of DLC skins, but for the most part, any skin in the game you unlock through it's like a random shop every 12 hours, and you can like earn coins, and you use those coins to. I don't know. There's probably a way to buy coins. To be honest with you, this is how games work nowadays. But as for now, you can earn them. I've been earning them. I got the Raptor set.
Okay. I think it's a fun way to do it, and I think it's awesome that they're more focused on donating to a charity of their choice.
Yeah.
The bid thing is interesting because it's like, are they going to pick more than one winner?
It's the highest winners. They said they're going to go with the highest one. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, okay, you're just going to do one. I mean, are you going to do another event?
They probably will do more of these charity bids. What's really nice is, as a fan, I'm watching this and I'm excited for whoever's going to win, and I'm kind of rooting for these different companies. So it's a good way to get people excited for the game, excited for the skin, and to look into what special effects charity is and stuff like that. Like, it's really kind of good for everybody.
Yeah, it definitely brings awareness to it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see Mr. Beast win.
You play the game more than me, so.
That game is so fun.
Is it? I want to try it because I watched the stream one night.
Yeah.
And I got to try it.
Oh, man. It's even when you're losing, it's a lot of fun. I mean, and I'm losing all the time. Like I said, I continue saying it because it's always my best has been second place. And Tim Tam, I think his name's Tim Tam. God, I can't remember it right now. Again, another name. He's like one of the biggest streamers out there. And for 4 days straight, like he was just trying to win a game of Fall Guys. He won it, and like he was trending for a while. It was such a big deal that he actually won a game of Fall Guys. The Fall Guys account tweeted him a few times and retweeted his clips and stuff like that. And then it was such a big deal on the streaming network, like on the Twitch side of things, that he actually had won a game. And watching him blow up in excitement was a lot of fun too.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a really good game. I can't suggest it enough. I think it's like $20. It's real cheap.
Yeah, I think it went up to 40 though. I was checking one day.
Oh, that's a smart move.
But one thing that I like is that someone just took this battle royale premise and made something totally different about it.
Yeah. You checking the price right now?
Yeah, I am. It's only 20. For some reason, I must have been looking at something else.
Add to cart. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. We're moving on to the next thing here. Squeaks, I know you're a huge Facebook fan, right? You using some Facebook all the time?
Every day.
Oh, of course. Me too. I love Facebook. You guys following the Geek Freaks Facebook page, all three of you guys know that we love Facebook.
It's the only page I follow.
Yeah. So, Oculus came out, and I was a big Oculus fan before this. I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to get, blah, blah, blah. Well, they made a statement on August 18th that Oculus device users will soon be required to sign in through Facebook. So if you buy a new device, you now have to use Facebook to sign in. If you have a device already, they request that you merge your accounts together, because basically what it is in 2 years, they're removing all support for the Oculus website and its logins. So if you haven't, this is the worst part, if you have an Oculus device and you just can't stand Facebook, like myself, you're not going to use your Oculus in 2 years. You're done, because it cannot have any support behind it. It's a shame that they're doing this. They're really forcing it on the users. What do you think, man? I mean, is this shifting you towards another system? I mean, to me, it did. To me, it shifted me to the PlayStation one now.
So I don't like being forced to do something that I don't want to do. Obviously, this is it. I don't have a Facebook. I don't care to have a Facebook. But also, I understand on the other side, it's not hard to just make a quick Facebook profile just to play Oculus.
Yeah.
The one thing that concerns me is that, okay, why are we shutting down the support for Oculus and it's turning to Facebook? Is it not that great as a device? Is there not going to be support for it later on too? Because we see that the VRs, they go like gun ho right from the beginning, and then it gets really quiet. Like the PlayStation 1, I think the PlayStation 1's awesome. I was playing Batman on it. I played Until Dawn on it. I played quite a few games on it, and it's crazy, the technology for sure, and it makes you actually feel like you're there. Okay, but what's the talk about it now? You don't really hear about it too much.
Well, Facebook acquired it back in I think it was 2014. So it's actually owned by Facebook now, Oculus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just a shame that we have to combine the two. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So they just like, okay, we're just not. Okay, I don't know. I guess they're just combining, but what's really like?
I think the reason behind this thing, which is what's perplexing us, is I think it's because Facebook's trying to become this gaming mobile or gaming, a champion, right? So they Mixer was having everybody move over to Facebook gaming, which I don't think anybody actually did. Stuff like that. So I think they're really trying to grab this market. They have their own streaming platform now. They have all these different things. Facebook gaming is trying to be this big thing. They're rebranding. So now they're forcing users to embrace that. And I don't like that. It's almost like if Mixer said you had to go over to Facebook. It was like, no, we don't like it. We have these established platforms. Why would we change over? And for a lot of people, they just simply do not want to have anything to do with Facebook. They have all kinds of security problems and privacy things. Why would you want to chance it for some people, Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know.
And then ultimately, are they requiring you to do anything on Facebook, or are they just want you to have a profile and sign in?
Probably just a profile and sign in, but I have a feeling, I'm not sure if this is 100% going to happen, but if you think of like Discord, while I'm playing whatever game on Discord, Far Cry 5, everybody sees I'm playing Far Cry 5 and that's fine. But is Facebook going to adapt that? And I don't see why they wouldn't. They would adapt something where it says like, what's my activity right now? Oh, I'm playing Far Cry 5 with my VR and all this stuff like that. I don't want that on Facebook, like, or whatever. Maybe I don't want to share what I'm currently doing, that I'm home right now or anything like that. Yeah. I don't know. There's all kinds of things like that. Like, it's really hard to call in from work and then you see like, oh, Frank's playing Far Cry. Well, it's full of shit. Yeah.
Shit, that's why when I call him from work, I can't be on my PlayStation, so I have to be on my computer or something because I got coworkers on.
We're playing offline games, man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if they give you the option to play offline, really, but
yeah. So you're playing that PlayStation VR. You like it quite a bit, right?
I played it in the very beginning, but I think it's really well done. Played Call of Duty where you're flying a ship and you're looking around and there's like shit all over the place. I think it's really well done. It sucks that it's not getting enough love right now, of course. It
is going to be supported on the PS5, which is a good sign. So we will probably see that coming up in the future. Some more support for it. All right, next up, we have the official announcement for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We've been talking about this for a while now, but we finally got the confirmation of it. We're going to have some additional information on the 26th. The teaser that they released did not actually show any gameplay. It was just basically a history lesson of the Cold War, and it says it's going to be taking from real-life events, and the narration was by Yuri Bezmenov. He was a KGB defector that went to Canada, actually, and then kind of like explained, like, this is how they're trying to mess with American politics and whatnot. So this is going to be kind of in that realm. What do you think about a game? And from one of the teaser images, it looks like we might actually play as Russians and Americans. That'd be interesting. What do you think about a game that's doing this, like, off of real-life events?
I think it's awesome because it's another way to bring in like history that people that don't really even realize that they're learning about history.
Yeah.
So if they could get this group of audience that has no desire to learn anything, and then we kind of put it. I mean, I don't want to say shove it into, because everyone's gonna if you're playing Call of Duty, you're gonna play every Call of Duty if you're a big fan.
Right.
So exactly. It's kind of cool to kind of be like, oh wow, this really is something that happened.
Yeah.
But after watching the trailer, I feel like, okay, that was cool. Whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of slowing down on Call of Duties. How about you?
I am too. I just got done playing a couple weeks ago Modern Warfare 2 again. And that one to me is, like, of course, the pinnacle of Call of Duty. It's really great. And it's a fictional war where between us and Russia. And I kind of liked when they were fictional, but still kind of realistic. Like, you can see this happening, because then they can really go crazy with it. But I really like the World War II games as well, back in the early days of the 360. Those are really good. I was going
to say, even the newer World War II, it was kind of like, okay, this is an actual war that I feel like, I mean, I don't know if the battles were real or whatnot. I can't remember what missions there were. It's been a while, but
Probably D-Day. There's
even
always
at
a D-Day
that,
mission.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think there was a D-Day map too in multiplayer actually. Um, but yeah, like I like being in those moments more than I
Mhm.
like. One thing that's scary is we know Black Ops does like crazy technology, right? In their
Mhm.
video games. Is this Cold War one gonna really be in the Cold War time, or is it gonna
It
throw
is.
some? Okay, so there's no crazy technology in it.
It's supposed to be taking place from the 70s to the 80s. So
Okay,
it should
I just
be old
yeah.
school.
Okay, for some reason when I hear Black Ops, I always think of like, okay, this is gonna be 70s, 80s, but we're gonna be like, oh, next thing you know, they have fucking exoskeleton suits also.
Fighting
You
in
know?
space. Yeah, because Black Ops got real weird there for a bit, but this is supposed to be a return to
Yeah,
form. Yeah.
yeah, kind of like a
Which they did with,
Wolfenstein.
and they did it with Modern Warfare too. Like Modern Warfare was a return to good old,
Yeah,
Call of
yeah,
Duty.
yeah.
We did get confirmation that the multiplayer matchmaking will be done through the skill based system. I wanted to get your thoughts on this real quick. So when they announced that, there were a lot of hardcore Call of Duty fans or whatever that were complaining and saying like this is unfair. They believe that what happens is the more you play, the harder it is to win because you move up in the bracket. You're playing against other people that are that good as well. So basically, the better you are, the harder the game gets. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think skill based is the way to go for multiplayer?
I think the skill base is awesome because especially when you're playing with somebody brand new,
Yeah.
that goes against these like champs, then obviously it's a horrible experience for them. But then it just sounds like a bunch of people complaining because they put in all the time and they get better at the game. It's like, no, now I can't win. So what do you want to do? Just play against a bunch of people that suck at the video game?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's all that I'm hearing when somebody complains about that.
Yeah.
So
Um,
get good.
even
I don't know.
Yeah, get good exactly. And in the article, I talk about how a lot of games do this, and World of Warcraft does this, and this is something that I'm familiar with. Like, if you think of like the arenas, if you're gonna always be just going in and smashing the guy ahead of you who's just trying out arenas for the first time, then you don't have any skill at all. You just happen to be slightly better than the guys that are always showing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And just like with everything else, but with arenas, as you move up in the ranking, you hit a certain wall at a certain point where you're just like you're winning and losing about the same. That's how good you are. You could study and practice and become better than that, or you can just get sloppy and go behind. But that's basically how good you are. And I like that. That's a testament and a test of who you are. And to me, that's the point of the game is to challenge yourself. You don't play platformers to never have to jump over lava. Why would you play a game that's too easy? And so, but there was a huge backlash on this when they announced this of the pros that were like coming out saying, this is unfair for us. We want to, and it kind of reminds me of Daniel. Daniel makes a Smurf account on League of Legends so he could play League of Legends against noobs. Kind of reminds me of that, but yeah.
How is it unfair for the pros when you got like the guys like say me, the more of a casual player? Okay, so it's not unfair for me. Like,
Right.
what
Exactly. Right. Yeah. I'm not,
idiots?
I don't play Call of Duty enough, but I do like to poke around in there. I especially like the campaigns, but during multiplayer, I poke around.
Mhm.
I don't want to get annihilated. I'm going to start playing right away. But if I can kind of work my way up to like bronze 3 or whatever, like I know I'm going to be in the bronze, whatever it is, but it's fun. And then I'm good, maybe I'll get one silver and something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That sounds ridiculous that they're complaining about that.
yeah. Oh, they were fired up.
Wow. Okay. I hope hopefully it just stays that way in that case.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't think Activision's going to actually. I think it'd be crazy to take that out, especially since it's already something a Blizzard part of them uses quite often.
Yeah.
So Sega announced that they're going to be bringing more games to the PC. They revealed this during an investor Q&A and said that they're going to be aggressively porting games to the PC after the success of the pandemic lockdown sales. So they said that repeat sales through Steam increased significantly through March and April, and then particularly Persona 4 Gold was crazy for them. That came out in June, and it just was nuts for them. Everybody went and got it. I remember hearing like Fly Pirates and people that we stream with on community night talking highly of that game.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're going to be porting a lot of games over. Sega has this massive library of their own. They also own companies like Creative Assembly, Relic Entertainment, Sports Interactive, and Amplitude Studio. I have my wish list here, but I'm gonna go through those while I'm saying those. You kind of come out with some ideas you want. Games that are Sega based that you wouldn't mind seeing coming to the PC. Okay, so for me, number one on my list has got to be Altered Beast, and I would like for them to actually totally remake this game. But Altered Beast was one of those games you see at an arcade, just stop and play, throw some quarters into that. It was fantastic. Next up, Comic Zone. How this game hasn't been carried over to the future, I don't know, especially right now when we're in a new renaissance of comics. Marvel, take this idea and run with it. But basically, you're going through comic panels and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Nights into Dreams. I think this was on the Saturn when I played it. Was a lot of fun and just really cool characters and stuff like that. Like the design was really neat. So a high def version of this would be really cool. We had the House of Dead. Now here's my VR pitch, man. If you were to take House of Dead, which of course we always played, at every arcade as well, and make that into a full VR game, that'd be pretty neat, right? Is there anything like that?
There is a Until Dawn game on PS4 that's shooting and it's like all horror based.
Oh, okay.
So there's that, but not a House of Dead.
I want like a zombie swarm, zombie swarm coming at me, and I just got my gun and I'm counting bullets, and I got a limited time before they get me, and then all of a sudden I'm like falling backwards. That's what I want. MDK2, that was on the Dreamcast and very little known, but it was really cool. You got to choose from 3 different characters that had distinct play styles. It was a lot of fun and deserves a remake, or at least a PC port. It could be exactly the way it is. Bayonetta, the original. Let's remaster that bad boy, get it out on PC. Bayonetta has found second life through its Smash Brothers introduction and stuff like that, and all the new versions of it. Let's just get the original out there again on PC. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Okay, that was my wish list. There's so many things that Sega has made that's really good. Have you got any on the top of your head?
That was the only thing on top of my head I was going to think this, because I remember playing this on the Sega Dreamcast. Crazy Taxi, is that one?
Oh, that's a great choice. Oh yeah, totally.
That's the only one I have on top of my head. I was like, you just named off a crazy amount of Sega games. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know you were that much of a fan.
Yeah, I didn't have it. I boycotted the Super Nintendo, went full Sega because I was cool. So that was the idea.
I remember having a Dreamcast and having I'll play it. There was a Razor scooter game on there.
What?
And it was basically like Tony Hawk but on a scooter. And me and my brother would play it all the time on the Dreamcast.
I'd play that. Yeah. Dude, NFL Blitz on the Dreamcast was great because remember how they had like the little screen on the controller so you could see like which play to pick without your friends seeing it? Yeah. That was great.
Man, oh god, you don't even think about like that technology way back then, having a screen on your controller.
Oh man.
But yeah, Crazy Taxi would be one that'd be fun to revisit.
Yeah, that would be good with like a co-op if they were to add a co-op to it. That'd be really good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, moving into the last thing before we get to book club. We're gonna update you guys on the Epic versus Apple thing. Squeaks, you weren't with us last week, but are you familiar with what's going on right between Fortnite and Apple and all that? Okay.
Yes.
So they've been continuing their fight back and forth. We're just going to give you a continuation on this. So we learned earlier this week that Epic CEO Tom Sweeney went to Apple before everything started and asked for a special deal. He wanted to look, can we get maybe 20% instead of 30% like everybody else is getting? And Apple declined him, saying it would basically fundamentally change how the App Store works and everything like that. We're not going to do that just for you guys. It would be too hard for them and stuff like that. And they also ended that statement with saying that Epic's emergency that they're claiming is self-inflicted and their own faults. So this emergency, which is pretty nuts that this is coming forward, this is Epic went to a judge and said, Apple's trying to end our business. They're trying to hurt us by saying that they can't use any Apple tools starting on the 28th. So on the 28th, Epic cannot use any Apple development tools. What that means is Unreal Engine, owned by Epic and used to make all kinds of games, cannot support anything with Apple. So say you're making the next Assassin's Creed with Unreal Engine. You can't let it use Mac tools. So all of a sudden, if you're making this next Assassin's Creed, you're not going to okay, we're just not going to make it for Mac. You're going to go with a new engine for that, or you're going to have to just stop. It's going to mess you up, right? So Epic went to the judge that's in charge of this case, asked for a restraining order, temporary restraining order called TRO, and saying that we need those development tools. It will, quote, irreparably harm our business. Which I was kind of you guys knew that they're going to do something at you. Of course, it's going to be the hardest thing they can do. And that would do it right there. You're going to shut off a huge portion of gamers right there. Do you think that Apple should give them access to the development tools? The judge should let this go? Or what do you think, man?
I think Apple, at this point, they just don't give a shit. And it's their way. So it's okay, well, we don't need your money because we're totally fine without it. So to force you to have to deal with us, like you agreed to originally. Let's not forget about that. You wanted Fortnite to be on the iOS store or whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. And that was the deal. So, and it seems like that's their deal with everything, right? 30%. Okay.
30% is the flat rate. Yeah, that's the deal for everything.
Okay. So, but it's also crazy is how bad is it Fortnite? Because there are people everywhere that plays Fortnite on the phone. So are you really struggling? Or do you really care that much that you're taking this cut? Like I don't know the numbers, right?
Right. Right.
So like how they're fighting so hard for it that ultimately, I mean, it's Apple's contract. They can do whatever they want, and if they feel like they don't need you, and I think it's kind of maybe ego ish, really, because Apple, it's like, okay, cool, I see what you're doing, but to take Unreal Engine away from anyone that uses it, it's kind of like, okay, now you're, yeah, you have money, but now you're hurting a lot of others, and then
Yeah.
also that's a lot of money that you could be making too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like those, like it's kind of like that situation where you're like, oh hey, I'm here to prove a point. You want to end up like Epic that happened 5 years ago? Could be that too.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty shitty that Epic released this like update to where you could buy skins and skins or V-Bucks
V-Bucks. Yeah.
directly from them while using your phone instead for a cheaper rate. You're like, okay, what the hell is this shit?
Straight up breaking the contract. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, of course I'm gonna buy. Like that just kind of it blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like both of them are kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just fighting hard. They're just grasping.
And really, as the consumer, we should just let them fight, and then whatever comes out at the end, we're probably going to be the winners of it, really, because either we pay less for V-Bucks, or I don't know, we'll see what happens, or Apple becomes not a monopoly or something like that. So in the end, we'll probably win out. But I do find myself siding with Apple quite a bit because Epic's kind of trolly about their assault on this. Microsoft,
I kind of like this tournament that they're doing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next. Yeah, I just want to throw in real quick. Microsoft released a statement of support today, actually, as we're recording this, saying that the restraining order should hold and that Epic should have full access to the Apple development tools. Saying, and of course, Microsoft's going to side with them because they just got denied the xCloud app on Apple Store as well. So, makes sense that they're going to be siding with anybody who's picking a fight with Apple. All right, now. Epic, being the monster trolls they are, they did a tournament yesterday even. It's the hashtag Free Fortnite tournament or the Free Fortnite Cup with anti-Apple prizes. So first of all, it's like basically if you win 2 games, or like if you do well in 2 games, what I've been seeing people saying, you can unlock the Bad Apple skin. It was renamed to I think it was the Tart Tycoon. And everybody was like, where's it at? Where's it at? They actually didn't even put in the game files yet. They kind of like said this one quick. So they said it'll be about 3 weeks until you guys get it. Okay. But people have unlocked it already. Other prizes included in the tournament. So there are non-iOS gaming hardware like Alienware laptops, Xboxes, PS4s, and Switches that you could have won. I heard Android phones. So here's the thing. Google's in the same lawsuit. I mean, everybody's talking about Apple, but Google is in the same lawsuit. I'm not sure what the deal is with the Android. Maybe they have some sort of restraining order there or something like that.
Well, one thing that's kind of weird is that the Google, I felt like, was just kind of just going with the flow with Apple. And it's like, okay, well, Epic didn't really have the argument with you at first. Well, you know what screwed them up, though, was that update, because I'm sure that went to the Android as well.
It did, yeah. Like, and they have a 30% as well.
Well, then shit, they're all on the same page. Then, yeah. Because I was going to say, if you're just picking a fight with one, then you just cost yourself another one that you weren't really originally fighting with.
Yeah.
To me, that's how I took it, because I felt like it was really mostly between Epic and Apple, and then you got Google on the side, like, okay, we'll pitch in, Right.
It was weird because it was like a few hours after the explosion between Apple and, but then Epic. So, I mean, we talked about it last week, but one of the big things I dislike, and you had mentioned it, is the way Epic went about this. It like this, like, we're going to put out a cheap price so that you guys purposely attack us. Oh, you attack us. Oh, look, we already have a pre-made ad that looks too clean, and we have the lawsuit already ready to go. And then as soon as Google said, like, yeah, we're kicking you guys off too, boom, it was like within minutes, here comes the next lawsuit. It just kind of feels like kind of trolly baity kind of thing, like they were baiting them into an attack.
How do you feel about Apple doing this 30% across the board?
Well, okay, so from Apple's argument, so first of all, Apple is losing money in this fight because I heard, this is, I can't guarantee you who said this, but it was like 120 million they make off of just the V-Bucks. They're 30%.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah. So there is a chunk that they're missing here, but Apple has, I would argue, the best encryption in the game. Like, they keep your data as safe as it can be kept. That takes a lot of funding, and then just maintaining the App Store, and there's all kinds of things that they're saying. Like, we do everything possible to keep, and the App Store pays for this. It pays for some of the phone development that like lets you guys play on Retina displays and higher, and so they're saying that the money pays for the platform and the monitoring and stuff like that, the reviews and everything like that. So I don't know if it pays for that much. One of the things I had brought up last week as well is I think it should be a sliding scale, maybe like Steam switched to after Epic attacked them on the PC thing, where maybe after a certain point you make 25% cut and then 20% cut after that. So it kind of slides down a little bit. Maybe that'll shut up Epic. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. What are you thinking about all this? Are you picking a side?
Yeah, I mean, I usually always go with the contract stuff because we talked about it when people like the guy from Blizzard, but Blitzchung, right?
Blitzchung, yeah.
It's like look, y'all want to have like this. You guys sign a contract because you're like, oh, I want the money, I want the deal.
Yeah.
Sign me up, right? And you're like, okay, well now I'm gonna try to breach it because I think it's unfair and shit. Well, ultimately, you signed that contract. You wanted Fortnite to be on the iOS. But I kind of like how companies taking it to the bigger man in a way.
Yeah.
Like I guess I respect the fight. And see.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Maybe that's all it really is for me with Epic. And maybe you can make Apple change. Maybe you can be like, okay, maybe we'll do a 20 or something. Because at the end of the day, you just said Fortnite alone with the V-Bucks is 120 million.
Yeah.
For Apple, so it's like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, it's a big chunk. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep you guys updated on that. It's definitely not done. It won't be done for a while too, it sounds like. Yeah. So we'll keep you guys updated on it. All right, next up we're going to do the book club. We were also going to do esports desk. We're going to hold off until next week. But I will say, way to go, San Francisco Shock. You guys won yesterday against the Atlanta Reign. That was a crazy good game.
Gladiators won too, by the way. So
did they? Okay. And
the last game. I'm just plugging it in.
I don't know how much I got to pay for Spitfire. We'll have our favorite teams and San Francisco Shock, right? But Ann's over at Shock, man, I would pay for a lesson so he could teach me how to play Ashe like he plays Ashe. Because Ashe is one of those characters where you see him and you're like, you see her and you're like, man, I wish I was good at her because she's just freaking cool. She's got the best skins. Yeah. And I'm like so awful compared to Ann's. But yeah, so we'll go into more esports desk next week, guys. It's a lot to go over and we had a lot going on here. So